Hello, my friends. Today I'm very excited to bring a very special guest. Now, we know the last couple of years, because of COVID, has been a very challenging year for many homeowners, right? Some homeowners have fallen behind on their mortgage. Some homeowners have lost the ability to sustain the mortgage because they went from a dual income to a single income because of a loss of a life. There's so many different situations that so many homeowners have gone through to struggle in these last couple of years because of the pandemic, that today's special guest is going to talk to you about how you can protect your home, how not to lose your home if you've fallen victim to falling behind your mortgage payments, loss of income, loss of wages. We're going to talk to you guys about that today on The Basement with Dr. J. Stay tuned. So, my friends, please welcome my good friend, Oni Anyama with Anyama Law Group.
Thank you, Julio.
Oni, I'm so happy to have you. Look, we've been friends and colleagues for over 10 years, right? Working together, helping homeowners save the American dream, really, right? And I know it sounds funny because we have a real estate company here, right? But most real estate agents tell people that are in foreclosure, hey, the very first thing you have to do is sell.
Right.
But, really our focus is how do we help a homeowner that has worked so hard to achieve this American dream? How do we help them save their house, right? And I want you to talk to our audience today about what is a Chapter 13. If somebody falls behind on their mortgage, they had a hardship happen, but now that hardship is over, what can this homeowner do to protect their home and not have a real estate company come and say, hey, your only option is to sell this house?
Well, Congress has given homeowners a good chance to keep their homes and not have to fall into foreclosure,
Okay.
not lose their homes through a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. It's generally called a reorganization bankruptcy because it gives you a chance to reorganize your debts, gives you a chance to pay back what you fell behind on over a period of 5 years. So let's just say you're behind, you fell behind due to the COVID, due to the pandemic, you fell behind a couple of thousands of dollars and you don't have that bulk money to pay right now. You are able to go into the Chapter 13 and stop the foreclosure process and be able to pay back that amount over a 60-month period. And then after the 60-month period, you're back to your normal payments in the bankruptcy.
And I think what I want to clarify for people is when people hear the word bankruptcy, right? A lot of people get scared. They hear, "Oh my God, I don't want to file for bankruptcy," right? But it's important that people understand the difference between the chapters in bankruptcy, right? For example, Chapter 7 is liquidation, right? What most people refer to as the fresh start, right?
Right.
And talk to us a little bit about Chapter 7, and then I want to get into the comparison. But Chapter 7, who would be the ideal candidate for a Chapter 7?
A Chapter 7 would be for people who it's called a liquidation bankruptcy because you're pretty much starting afresh.
Right.
You're at a point where you're consumed with all the credit card debts, a lot of pretty much you're getting your income, for instance, and everything is going towards credit card debts. You're being swallowed up. You don't have any extra income for the month.
Right.
So those kind of situations, you can file a Chapter 7 and get rid of all those debts and pretty much start afresh. And know that whatever income you're getting at this point, you can use for your own needs,
Right.
and not have to struggle to pay the credit card debts.
Right.
Um,
Now, what I want the audience to understand is in a Chapter 7, it requires also an analysis, right? So don't any information that you get from this interview today doesn't mean go apply for a Chapter 7 if you're in debt. You have to consult with a bankruptcy attorney always to be able to understand if you qualify, if you're a candidate to qualify for a Chapter 7. Because if you're a homeowner, there are very important things you have to understand that go into filing a Chapter 7 that may put you in a position where the trustee may actually liquidate your home. So that requires analysis, that requires the expertise of an attorney. Whereas a Chapter 13 now also requires an analysis and the expertise of an attorney. But the difference between that and a 13 is in a Chapter 13, you're actually telling the creditor, the court, hey, I want to pay back. I want to pay back what I fell behind because, I lost my job, I lost a spouse, whatever the circumstance is, and I don't have the 20, 30, 40,000 to pay it back in a lump sum like you described,
Right.
but I can pay it back if you allow me to pay it back over 60 months, right, on the condition that I'm able to start making mortgage payments again. So I think it's very important that people understand the difference, right? Because sometimes we talk to people and they're like, oh, I don't want to file for bankruptcy, right? But then they're trying to take money out of their 401k. They're borrowing money from Peter to pay Paul, and they never really get back on their feet. They're actually more and more in debt, right? So I think it's important that our audience understands the difference between chapter 7 and chapter 13, because really, I mean, to me, bankruptcy is a tool that people should use, right? That's why it's their constitutional right, to be able to file and protect themselves when they actually need it, not when they're actually abusing it, but when they actually need it. And I think that's important, right? So now chapter 7, chapter 13. Now let's just say I'm an apartment building owner, right? And I have multiple assets, right? I know that there's debt limits for a chapter 13, but let's just say that I have a bunch of investment property, and what we know, right, because of COVID, is that a lot of tenants stop paying their rent.
Right.
And now, as a landlord, I didn't have the ability to make my mortgage payments because the tenants weren't paying me the rent, and of course, nobody's protecting me, the homeowner or the apartment owner. So now, I exceed the debt limit in a chapter 13. So now, what is my next step? What can I do?
Well, in that kind of situation, a chapter 11 comes into play.
Okay.
Chapter 11 is not just for business owners. I know a lot of people have the idea that chapter 11 is only for businesses. There's also individual chapter 11 cases where even if it's an individual that owns the apartments, the person is also able to file a chapter 11 to protect those properties. The good part of the chapter 11 is that you can either liquidate or restructure or reorganize your properties, the loans on the properties. So the best part of it is that in a chapter 11, unlike the chapter 13, you're not restricted to the 5-year repayment plan. You can actually restructure the whole loan over pretty much another 30 years, a long-term loan, especially if they're investment property. So if you do have multiple properties and they're in defaults, then you should definitely consult with an attorney, a Chapter 11 attorney, to explain this process to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, and I know it sounds like for many people, I know I get this all the time. Well, you're a real estate company, right? But for me, home retention is equally important as home sales, right? It's important that our communities be able to stay balanced and together, and really homeowners have the educated knowledge of what really their options are when they're in this position. Because I know I hear it all the time where real estate professionals will actually tell a homeowner that's in foreclosure, sell. They get commission breath, right? I mean, I have a personal objective with this, because in 2008, I lost my home like many Americans, and I didn't know what to do. I was lost. And it wasn't until I really learned the power of what it is that we do now to help homeowners that I probably would have had the ability to save my house, and I didn't. So we're very passionate about what we do, and we want homeowners to know that if you are behind on your mortgage payments today, right now, whether it's your home, whether it's an investment, you have a way out where you don't have to sell it to a real estate company or through a real estate company, because you may have other options. If you worked really hard to keep your asset, your home, your investments, call an attorney today. Call Oni, call our office. We can help you. We can sit down. Oni will give you a free consultation, and we'll analyze with you within an hour. You'll walk out of this office knowing that you can or you cannot, what your options are. So again, any final thoughts, Oni, for our audience?
Thank you, Julio. Thank you for the time. So yeah, if you have any questions about bankruptcy, if you have any concerns whatsoever, feel free to give us a call. We're available via Zoom, telephone, in person. Just give us a call and we will talk to you, free consultation, and analyze your case.
Oni, again, thank you very much for being my guest. I know we can talk about bankruptcy for hours. We can talk about all the things that bankruptcy does. But again, what I want our audience to know is really it requires an analysis, and it's very important that if you guys are in this position, hire a professional, hire somebody that knows what they're doing. This is what we do. We've been doing it for you and I over 10 years together now. So it's important that you guys know you have an option, you have a way out to be able to keep your home. It's not your fault that that COVID really was so impactful on your ability to sustain the mortgage. So, bankruptcy is a great tool for you to use if you find yourself in a position where you just can't do it anymore, right? So give us a call today. We'll see you soon. And again, until the next episode with At the Basement, live with Dr. J. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.